Good morning, everyone. Today we learn about the female reproductive system. Okay, so female reproductive system consists of pair of ovaries, that is two ovaries, two oviduct or the fallopian tube, one uterus, cervix, vagina, and external genitalia. Along with that, there is a pair of mammary glands or the breast tissue, and these all together help in the process of ovulation, fertilization, pregnancy, childbirth, everything. Okay, so ovaries are the primary female sex organ that produce the female gamete, that is the ovum. Okay, like in males it is the testis, in ovaries it is the like in females it is the ovaries. Okay, and the gamete in a female is the ovum. Ovum is also the largest cell in the human body. Okay, and there are several steroid hormones that are the ovarian hormones. So both ovaries are located on the lower abdomen, that is the pelvic area, and each ovary is 2 to 4 centimeter in length, and it is connected to the pelvic wall and the uterus by ligaments. There are many ligaments connecting this, and ovary is covered by a thin epithelium around, that is a cuboidal epithelium, and there is inside there is an ovarian stroma. So like this, it is covered by a cuboidal epithelium, and inside there is a stroma. So the outer peripheral part is known as the cortex, inner part is known as the medulla. Mind you, this is a cross section, okay, of an ovary. So this cortex and medulla name can be applied to other organs too, like kidney, adrenal glands. All these organs also, the outer part is known as the cortex and inner is known as the medulla. So next, coming to the diagram. So this is a diagram of a female pelvis showing the reproductive system. So first is the pubic symphysis, and this is the anterior abdominal wall. Pubic symphysis is a joint, fibrocartilaginous joint connecting both the pubic bone, that is a hip bone. Okay, so this is the middle part. Just behind the pubic symphysis we have a urinary bladder. Okay, this is the urinary bladder. This is the urethral opening. This is the clitoris. Clitoris is a fold of tissue just in front of the urethral opening. Okay, next to the urinary bladder we have the uterus, anteverted or retroverted uterus. So this is the uterine cavity, this is the cervix, and this is the vaginal cavity, and this is the vaginal opening. Just behind the uterus we have the rectum, and this is the anal opening. So from anterior to posterior, that means सामने से पीछे, it is urethral opening, vaginal opening, and the anal opening. The oviducts or the fallopian tubes, uterus, vagina are the female accessory ducts. So fallopian tube is 10 to 12 centimeter in length. So it covers from the periphery of each ovary, like in the diagram you can see, to the uterus. Okay, it connects the ovary to the uterus. So the part closer to the ovary is a funnel shaped infundibulum, and the edges of the infundibulum possess a finger like projection called the fimbriae. So this is the fimbriae, then infundibulum. Next comes the wider part, that is the ampulla, then the isthmus, that is the narrow part. Narrowest part is the isthmus. Then there is another part known as the interstitial part, which is basically the part which is joining inside the uterus. Okay, so these are the parts of a fallopian tube. And where does fertilization occur? Fertilization occurs in the ampulla region of the fallopian tube. In short, you can remember that fertilization occurs in the fallopian tube. That means the sperm travels all the way to the fallopian tube, and the egg is released and it is here, and somewhere here somewhere here the fertilization occurs, and this fertilized zygote then travels down to the uterine cavity to get implanted. This is how reproduction happens. And uterus is single, and uterus is the one which is called as the womb in layman term. Shape of the uterus is inverted pear, and there are many ligaments attached to the pelvic wall. Like here you can see, this is the ligament that is connecting the ovary to the uterus, is known as the ovarian ligament. Then the ligament connecting the ovary to the pelvic wall is known as the suspensory ligament. Then other than that, there are many ligaments that are connecting the uterus to the pelvic wall and other structures, like uterosacral ligament, the round ligaments both sides. Then in general there is a broad ligament. So there are many ligaments connecting the uterus to the uterus and ovary to the walls. Then we have the cervix and the cervical canal. So now we'll learn about the uterus. Okay, so uterus has, this is the uterus, this part is called the uterus. The above part of the uterus is known as a uterine fundus. Okay, this is the uterine cavity. Uterine wall has three parts: perimetrium, that is the outer thin membranous part; myometrium, that is the muscular smooth muscles filled part; and then the endometrium is the part which contains all the blood vessels and clots. So during menstruation, the part which the whole endometrium is shut down in menstruation, during the menstrual cycle. So this endometrium is prone for all the cyclical changes and all the hormonal changes during the menstruation. So its width differs according to the cycle, the type of cycle. So coming to the female external genitalia. Female external genitalia has mons pubis, labia majora, labia minora, hymen, clitoris. So how we will remember this? This is the cushion, fatty cushion part covering the pubic symphysis is the mons pubis. Okay, just below that there is a fold of skin which is covering the vaginal opening. This will be the labia majora. Okay, then there will be a small another fold of skin inside, which will be the labia minora. Okay, the part where both the labia majora and combined, there is another part which is known as the clitoris. Just below the clitoris we have the urethral opening, vaginal opening, then the anal opening. So this is how we will understand the female external genital part. And there is another part, that is a hymen, which is basically inside the vaginal cavity. So it is a membrane like structure, and most if you visualize from below, most commonly seen hymen is annular, or it can be crescent shape also. Very rarely we see hymen which is fully covering the vaginal opening. That is known as a imperforate hymen. So there is a myth that during the first coitus the hymen breaks, only during the first coitus, because since hymen is not fully covering the vaginal opening, so it may or may not be torn during the first coitus. So it is not a reliable indicator for virginity or sexual experience, because during active participation of some sports like horseback riding, cycling, sudden fall, insertion of vaginal tampon, all these times also the hymen can be torn. Next is the mammary gland. There are two mammary glands. Mammary gland or the breast. It is found in the females, and it is found in all female mammals. So it is a paired structure. It contains mostly glandular and fat inside. So it is filled with fat, as you can see. So in the mammary gland, most content is the fat. Okay. In that we can see that each mammary gland is divided into certain lobes, 15 to 20 lobes. Okay. So this is will one lobes, like that lobes will be there. In that each lobe there is a, you can see a mammary alveolus. Okay. In this alveolus only the milk is produced. Then from the alveolus, through the mammary alveolus, then to the tubules the milk goes. Then from the tubule it goes to the, each tubule joins to form the mammary duct. Then all the ducts join into a wider ampulla. From the ampulla it goes in through the lactiferous ducts and expresses out of the nipple. So this is how these are the glandular structure of a mammary gland. Okay, and the hormone which is responsible for production of milk is prolactin, and oxytocin is responsible for the release of milk. So prolactin is for the production and oxytocin is the release of milk. So these are some of the important things we should know in the female reproductive